Could Cambodia and Thailand be heading for conflict? In May 2025, a major crisis erupted between the two countries over a long-standing border dispute. But while shots were fired and nationalist sentiment surged, a full-scale conflict was narrowly averted, at least for now. However, the fallout continues, with the Thai Prime Minister now suspended and the issue unlikely to be resolved anytime soon. This question will remain a serious source of tension between the two countries. So, what exactly lay behind the crisis, and why does this old territorial conflict still have such a profound impact? Hello and welcome. My name is James Ker-Lindsay, and here I take an informed look at international relations, conflict and security. It's a fundamental principle of modern international relations that countries respect each other's borders. However, boundaries nevertheless remain a significant source of tension. Sometimes a country yearns for land lost in a past war. At other times, it's about territory claimed but never conquered. Then there are the borders created by colonial powers. Often drawn with little regard for the inhabitants or cultural significance, these boundaries can become a deep source of national resentment. But while we typically associate these issues with Africa, where colonialism often led to particularly artificial boundaries, these types of border disputes can in fact be found around the world. A notable example from Asia is the conflict between Cambodia and Thailand. The Kingdom of Thailand and the Kingdom of Cambodia lie in Southeast Asia, covering around 513,000 square kilometres and home to nearly 70 million people. Thailand is the far larger and more populous of the two. By contrast, Cambodia, with an area of approximately 181,000 square kilometres and a population of 17 million, is significantly smaller. Although the countries are predominantly Buddhist and share many cultural and social connections, these strong ties have not always led to political harmony, particularly because their 800-kilometre or 500-mile border runs through religious and historical sites that both sides claim as their own. The origins of the current border dispute lie in the complex and overlapping histories of the two nations. Historically, the Khmer Empire, centred on Angkor in what is now northern Cambodia, was the dominant regional power. At its peak in the 12th century, it extended far into what is now Thailand. However, as it declined, Thailand, then known as Siam, emerged as a powerful new state, gradually taking over Khmer territories. By the 19th century, Thailand had become an important kingdom. More to the point, it had avoided the European colonisation that had affected the rest of Southeast Asia, including neighbouring Cambodia. However, this meant that it was now squeezed between two major imperial powers, Britain to the west and France to the east. Facing pressure from both sides, Thailand was forced to make a series of territorial concessions to safeguard its sovereignty. One of the most controversial of these was the 1907 Franco-Siamese Treaty, which saw Thailand transfer several territories to Cambodia, which was then part of French Indochina. This included the area around Preah Vihear, a striking cliff-top temple complex situated on the Dongrek mountain range. The deep resentment caused by the loss of territory would come to a head several decades later with the start of the Second World War. Seeing a chance to retake the lost territories, Thailand allied with Imperial Japan and seized control of parts of Western Cambodia. However, the gains were short-lived. After the Allies won the war, France retook control over Indochina and Thailand was forced to return the territories it had occupied. Nevertheless, the border issue was not forgotten, as became clear a few years later when Cambodia gained independence from France in 1953. As the borders left by the colonial powers remained unchanged and unresolved, the dispute over Preah Vihear escalated when Thailand seized control of the temple and the surrounding area. In response, Cambodia took the matter to the International Court of Justice. 8 years later, in 1962, the court issued its ruling. But while it granted Cambodia control over the temple site, it was rather less clear about who held sovereignty over the surrounding areas. In the years that followed, tensions continued to simmer as many Thais saw the ruling as a bitter defeat. However, against the backdrop of regional geopolitics, including the Vietnam War, the border would come to assume an even greater significance. In the late 1960s, Cambodia descended into a bitter and brutal civil war. This culminated in 1975 when the communist Khmer Rouge seized power from the US-backed military government, marking the start of a genocidal regime that would kill almost 2 million Cambodians. However, this came to an end in late 1978 when Communist Vietnam invaded Cambodia, ousting the Khmer Rouge and occupying the country. As a result, the border between Thailand and Cambodia now became a Cold War front line as the United States, China and other Southeast Asian countries backed the anti-Vietnamese resistance, including remnants of the Khmer Rouge that were operating out of bases along the Thai-Cambodian border. And although Vietnam eventually withdrew in 1989 and the 1991 Paris Peace Accords ended the conflict in Cambodia, establishing a UN administration that oversaw the transition to constitutional monarchy, the border remained a sensitive matter. Despite the strained past, by the turn of the millennium, things appeared to be changing for the better. In 2000, Cambodia and Thailand signed a Memorandum of Understanding outlining a peaceful settlement of the dispute through a land boundary commission. From there, relations improved dramatically as the Cambodian Prime Minister, Hun Sen, formed a close relationship with his Thai counterpart, Thaksin Shinawatra. Sharing a similar populist style, their relationship was further strengthened in 2006 when Thaksin Shinawatra was ousted by a military coup. Having gone into exile, he now spent time in Cambodia, where he enjoyed a close friendship with Hun Sen and even served as an economic advisor to the Cambodian government, much to the anger of the new Thai administration. Meanwhile, border tensions re-emerged again in 2008 when, despite Thai objections, Cambodia successfully lobbied UNESCO to designate the Preah Vihear temple a World Heritage Site. Sparking clashes that continued until 2011, the International Court of Justice was asked to clarify its earlier 1962 ruling. However, while it eventually ruled in 2013 that Cambodia's sovereignty extended over the area around the temple, the issue remained a source of bilateral tension. But despite this ongoing territorial dispute, relations between the two countries improved and strengthened over the next decade. This was highlighted in February 2024 when the Cambodian Prime Minister visited Thailand and the two countries signed a strategic partnership. As part of this, they decided to withdraw their forces to agreed upon positions along the border. And it's against this backdrop that the most recent tensions emerged between the two countries. I hope you're finding this helpful. If so, please do give it a like and perhaps subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks, and now back to the video. The crisis was sparked on the 28th of May when Cambodian and Thai military patrols came across each other along the disputed border. According to reports, the two groups opened fire on each other, leading to the death of a Cambodian soldier. However, while the heads of the two armed forces initially attempted to ease tensions by meeting directly to discuss the issue, the broader political blame game quickly escalated. As nationalist sentiment grew in both countries, they increased their military presence around the border. At the same time, they imposed tit-for-tat sanctions, and Thailand even banned all land crossings into Cambodia. Meanwhile, the incident has also sparked a political crisis in Thailand, where the young Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra, the younger daughter of former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, has been suspended. At the root of the problem is a phone call that she made to try to ease tensions by calling her father's old friend, Hun Sen, who's now the president of the Cambodian Senate and widely regarded as Cambodia's most influential political figure. However, citing national interest, Hun Sen later leaked a recording of the call. Embarrassingly for the 38-year-old Thai Prime Minister, during the conversation she took what many regarded as an excessively deferential tone, referring to Hun Sen as uncle. In addition, she also called the Thai military her opponents and promised to take care of Cambodia's demands. The recording sparked outrage in Thailand and led to serious political repercussions. In addition to widespread protests, a key coalition partner withdrew from the government. Then, on the 1st of July, the Thai Constitutional Court unanimously suspended the Prime Minister, pending an investigation into her role in undermining national sovereignty. All the while, tensions persist between the two countries. Although a full-scale war seems extremely unlikely, especially as Thailand's overwhelming military strength ensures that Cambodia will shy away from any large-scale confrontation, further low-level skirmishes are more than possible. And the danger with small-scale skirmishes is that they can easily escalate into major conflicts. Even if there isn't a desire to fight, wars can happen. But even if it doesn't come to that, the issue looks likely to remain a serious and destabilising political problem, particularly as there's little immediate sign of a solution. While Cambodia has again referred the matter to the ICJ, Thailand has stated that it doesn't recognise the court's jurisdiction and insists that the issue must be resolved through bilateral mechanisms. Furthermore, the recent tensions are likely to undermine efforts to address other issues, such as a long-standing maritime boundary dispute. Domestic political implications aside, the dispute between Cambodia and Thailand is a good example of how colonial-era decisions can still influence international relations. As it's shown, borders drawn at the height of imperial expansion can still cause conflicts many decades after the colonial power has departed. But there's an even more serious issue at play. At a time when the old rules of international relations are breaking down and more countries are questioning long-standing borders, the crisis between Cambodia and Thailand serves as a timely reminder that boundary conflicts can still ignite violence, often with little warning and extremely serious domestic and international consequences. I hope you found that helpful. If so, here are some more videos that you might find interesting. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next video.